The Colonel Podcast. Hosted by Noah Norton.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Colonel Podcast. As always, I'm your commander, your leader, your news lover, central, indirect. Anyways, I'm the host of the Colonel Podcast. My name is Noah. Really excited to be back. I hope you're enjoying as well. We're 3 episodes in already. Yeah, it's been fun. I hope you all been enjoying. My hot takes. I saw some of the feedback to my rankings of A24 films. And before you come at me and go, oh, such a bad ranking, I want to remind you of something. Come on. You don't have one of these sweaters. Be real. You Blumhouse fans. At any rate, we're really excited to get into this. Our main story, or kind of topic, I guess you'd say today, we're actually going to be doing Oscar predictions. We know. Weird year, right? Weird year. So it'd be interesting to talk about like what we think are going to be in the Oscars, what some of the predictions are for the nominees. I won't be going to winners yet. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some that stand out. Tenet, you know? But it is interesting to talk about, so we're going to get into that. Before we do that, we do some quick bites, some quick little pops. So let's pop, lock it, and butter this thing down, all right? Let's get right into it. All right. Oh, exciting thing. Won't spoil it just yet. But there's actually a director that has sent the Colonel Podcast a cease and desist letter for one of our reviews. Won't say who it is, because I'm going to give you a second to guess. Greta Garbage Gerwig. Greta Garbage Gerwig has sent a cease and desist letter to the Colonel Podcast Studios. Isn't that fantastic? We're getting to you, Greta. We're in your mind. It's really interesting to see. In a letter she wrote to us, she's saying that she's trying to come for everything we've built as a company. And on a personal note, she's actually called me and threatened to take the food out of my children's mouths. Stay tuned as that develops. All right, in Emmys news, you guys watch the Emmys? Kind of weird, right? It was kind of weird the way they set up and kind of how they delivered the Emmys. I wonder if they knew. You know, sometimes in your head you're like, do they know before they got it? Anyways, Attaway General, the Brat TV show, if you're not familiar, walked away with 5 Emmys, all of which were the ones it was nominated for. That is a clean sweep in everything it was nominated for. That's great news for TikTok stars everywhere. They did a phenomenal job. I personally was surprised when I saw some backlash online about Dixie D'Amelio. Why? You know, people were upset that she won Best Lead Actress in a Drama Series. Did you watch the show? She was fantastic. She was phenomenal. And I keep seeing all these people talk about Zendaya's performance. Is it Zendaya? I don't know. It's Zendaya how bad it was. Euphoria, terrible, terrible show. There's no layers to her acting. I think that's something Dixie did so well. So many layers to her character. There was moments in the show where she was happy. But then there was moments where she was sad. And I think that's just compelling. I think that's very compelling. It's surprising to me that people were praising so much on Zendaya, because I you know, she was just so complex. It was really annoying. But this leads me to a larger debate, and that's about Marvel casting. Marvel, they cast very well normally. We know this. Tom Holland's phenomenal. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Thor, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, how really grown into a role. But I really think they misfired when they cast Zendaya, especially to be the MJ figure. You know, so iconic MJ. I think Dixie should have gotten it. Not that I'm saying that Dixie D'Amelio should take everything from Zendaya, because I think she kind of earned it. It's not really taking when you just deserve it, is it? Hard to say. But Dixie's doing great. I'm really excited for her sister. As we know, Charlie is playing. Charlie, if you don't know, the younger sister, Charlie D'Amelio, is the younger sister of Dixie D'Amelio. And she's actually going to be taking on the titillating role of Katara in Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series. And I know here at the Colonel, we're very excited to see where that goes. So, yeah. Moving on. Nick Fury, the Disney Plus show. Pretty exciting, right? You hear about this? So Samuel L. Jackson will be reprising his role as Nick Fury. They'll be using some de-aging techniques, but we really don't know much about it. Is it going to be its own series? Is it going to take like a prequel sort of thing? Or is it going to be kind of something, a mixture of the both? I think we're all excited about it because I personally want to know everything about Nick Fury. He's so often been this character that's kind of shrouded in this, this veil of mystery. And I think something so interesting would be to take back that veil and just go into it. I think we all were really excited when we learned how his eye got the eye patch. I think that was a great reveal. But let's go deeper. When did he lose his hair? Why did he lose his hair? I have a theory that he shaved his hair off during the 1998 Chicago Bulls run. Because it's a very common thing. Everyone was doing bald back then with Jordan's success. I have a theory that's actually when he began doing it. And it would really play into the timeline because we saw Captain Marvel, 90s movie. It would play really into that timeline. So I would like to see Nick Fury actually at one of Michael Jordan's last games where he makes that commitment to just take it all off. And they could tie it into The Last Dance. You know? What if The Last Dance exists in that universe? That's interesting. When did Nick Fury lose his virginity? Hasn't this been so frustrating for Marvel fans everywhere? Because if you remember, like the Winter Soldier, that was such a subplot for Captain America. Has Captain America laid pipe since he got out of that iceberg? You know, we're all wondering that, and I think that's something we're all trying to figure out. So answer those questions for us, Marvel. I think we're poised very excitingly, despite Zendaya being in Spider-Man. I think we're poised really well to have a Spider-Man movie where we watch Peter Parker blossom into manhood when he has his first sexual encounter. I think that could be fantastic. I hope it's not with Zendaya. I hope it's with a more compelling actress, but it's interesting. And so that's what I'm hoping Nick Fury gets into. Maybe Captain America shows up. Maybe Captain shows up. They try to avoid some historical tragedy. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s. I think you guys are kind of getting on that. You know, something happened early 2000s, late 90s. You know, some voter fraud in Florida that triggered the Bush-Gore recount. Like to see Nick Fury be involved in that one. Yeah. There's so much characters that you could have coming out because we know some people were around the 90s and the 2000s, so it's very good. I want constant jokes. Let's make this thing light. Let's make this thing, like, airy, just kind of in the vein of Thor Ragnarok, but let's dial it up to, kind of almost, I was thinking about this great movie the other day, The Love Guru. I'd really like to see them kind of dial up into that kind of Mike Myers level. I'd like to see that. Heavy CGI. I don't want to see a real person in this thing, It's almost better animated, So I'd like to see that. All in all, I'm just very excited. How are you feeling? Let us know down below how you feel about this. I think it could be great. I have a note here. Tinkerbell Black. Oh, I see this. Yeah, so Yara Shahidi, if you haven't heard, has been cast as Tinkerbell. So this is going to be in Disney's live action. I think the name of it is Peter Pan and Wendy film. So it's going to be about Peter Pan and Wendy, and Yara Shahidi is playing Tinkerbell. Of course, we know Tinkerbell, very iconic role. If you've been staying off social media, you probably haven't been involved in these conversations, but it actually has caused a lot of meaningful conversations across the internet. But my 2 cents on this casting, she's just too damn old. Can I just say that? She's 20 years old, and it's too old, right? I like my women at a ripe age of 18. If I think of Tinkerbell, I'm thinking of young, virile, very vivacious character. I think 20, you're really pushing it. You're getting kind of, the back's hurting, and I think that's bad. And you got to think about the run of the show, the run of the series. If you cast too old, then sequels. By the time they're doing the 4th version, they'll have to have recast her 4 times to keep her at that ripe age of 18, Whereas if you cast 18, you could potentially sneak off a sequel if you shoot them all at the same time. That's something to think about. All in all, we'll see. Maybe she's good. It is a Disney film, and we know that Disney likes to do de-aging technology, so possibly that'll be used. I don't know. Next thing, Enola Holmes. My review of Enola Holmes. Have you been seeing this? Nolan Holmes. I think it's a Netflix movie, and I think there's got to be some deal that Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill have with Netflix because they are just pumping out stuff for me. I think the Witcher series and Stranger Things. My thoughts on it: it's a fun film for a 12-year-old girl. Not really good for us grown-ups, huh? Not really great for us. I gave it a 2 out of 5 on my Letterboxd. If you ever want to follow my Letterboxd account, yeah, I give it about a 2 out of 5. It's a competent movie for what it's going for, which is children's entertainment. Not really a complex one. Movies, they can be fun. I'm still frustrated because it's part of that Rotten Tomatoes woke meter, so they gave it like a 92%, but it's just not that good. I really hate this in movies, and you probably agree with me on this, and I know most people do. I hate when the main character is smarter than me. Is that annoying when you're watching a movie and you're like, okay, I can figure this out, and then the character figures out for you, When they like grow and discover something about themselves and then like use that knowledge to, save the day. I can't stand it. And I couldn't wrap my head around how a young woman could be smarter than me too. Especially because I watch so many Christopher Nolan films. And from by all accounts, Enola Holmes has never seen a Christopher Nolan film in her life. So how could she have that perspective, And then I kept trying to solve the mystery, but then she kept solving stuff before me, and it was really frustrating, I prefer a more kind of Dora the Explorer style mystery where, they're like, oh, where's the mystery? And you're like, behind you, Dora, I don't know. I turned it off. Yeah, I made it about 20 minutes before I was like, this isn't really my kind of film. Probably because I'm an adult. But, hey, 12-year-olds, enjoy that. Anyways, I shouldn't be so hard on it. It has a place. Birds of Prey will be re-edited for the male audience. Exciting. Warner Brothers are trying to earn back some of the money they lost during the film's theatrical run, so they'll be doing a new cut. Kind of think like a Snyder Cut version of this. And in a way, very Snydery. So the costumes of the lead actors, minus Cassandra Cain, will be CGI'd to appeal to the male eye. Very interesting. There's also going to be scenes when women are talking to each other. Those will actually all be cut out, except for when they're talking about a male character. This could be a good change. This could be a very good change. Yeah, I screw the Bechdel test. I think that's a bunch of nonsense, I think women naturally talk about men, especially handsome men, Ewan McGregor's in that movie. Of course they're going to be talking about that, So I think this is a good thing. It's very encouraging to me that Zack Snyder has actually given it seal of approval already. There's a great quote from him, and we don't have it in front of me, so I'm sorry if I'm misquoting. Sorry, you can look it up later. But he said, wow, the ass on Harley Quinn. And that was it. Yeah, it looks great. I know the people on Reddit are going to love this cut. It's great. This is interesting too. So we were talking, this is a story we're following, the Kevin Feige, Martin Scorsese rivalry. Apparently it's gone up a tick too, as Kevin Feige and Francesca Scorsese were seen the other day sitting cross-legged on a table with a birthday cake in between them. Apparently, Francesca Scorsese's friends had all forgotten about her birthday, but Kevin Feige was there. And she blew out the candles, and he asked her what her wish was, and she said, I wish that Black Widow could come out in 2020. We'll leave it at our imagination what happened after that, but Martin can't be too happy about this one right here. Kevin Feige's really letting him have it, and also interesting to see. I think it's a burgeoning romance right there. It's kind of beautiful, kind of one of those Romeo Juliet type star-crossed lovers. All right, and this is a new section we're going to do. It's called the Did You Know section. So I'm going to actually be giving you a fact, something you might not have known. It's a deep dive into film knowledge that it won't be listed on any IMDb trivia database. This is all going to come from me. Just to kind of give you more information about some of the movies you love. So here's your Did You Know section. Warner Brothers wasn't backing Todd Phillips' idea for the Joker, for a standalone Joker film, until he scared them by proposing a Hangover Part 4. Yeah, Warner Bros. Executives were apparently terrified at the prospect and immediately agreed to sign on to whatever movie he had cooked up since he still had that one picture deal with them. I think we're all thankful that happened because Joker turned out to be one of my favorite films of all time. I mean, I base my daily personality off of Arthur Fleck. Everything, down to my laugh, my smile, I sleep in the refrigerator, it's all there. It should have won Best Picture, and I'm glad that Bong Joon-ho did the right thing and returned the Oscar that was essentially stolen from Todd Phillips. I'm very glad. It should have won Best Picture. Joaquin Phoenix, if you're listening to this podcast, and I know you are, we'd love to have you on. Really, we would. I think you're a tremendous talent, and yeah, come have a chat. All right, and okay, before we get to our main topic here, this is a sobering moment that we wanted to recognize on the show. We're going to have a moment of silence in just a little bit, and that's because this is the first year since 2009, and this is official, that we will not be having a Marvel movie come to theaters. That's pretty significant. 2009. Can you believe that? Last time we didn't have a Marvel movie. So, this is probably going to be the thing that that 2020 is known for. When we look back on this, we're probably going to think, the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the death and resurrection of Tom Cruise. But I think what's going to stand out the most is that we didn't even have the comfort of Marvel to get us through. So we're actually going to have a moment of silence right now. So if you want to please bow your head. Thank you for joining me in that. Okay. I'm sorry we keep ending on these bummers before we get into the main topic, but I promise it's going to be really fun. We're going to do Oscar predictions. Stick around. Got some fun ahead. All right, welcome back, Poppers. Should I call you Poppers? What do you think of a name? Someone put a name in the comments down below. Comment your favorite Marvel movie that doesn't pass the Bechdel test and what you think we should call ourselves. I think Poppers. I think that's a cool thing. That's what we call ourselves in the office. I think it would make sense. I digress. You know what we're here for, Oscar predictions. So this is kind of a weird year because for some reason Hollywood hasn't really slated too many movies to come out this year. I don't know what it is. Reading the trades or something, maybe they just think the international market's not ready for it. Again, higher powers than me now. We know that some films, maybe they just thought with Tenet coming out that they didn't have a chance. Like, I'm assuming that's probably what was going through Marvel's head, right? Like, Marvel's like, oh, you know what? We love Black Widow, but people are going to be waiting for Tenet. If we release it now, if we release it in the beginning. I don't know what it is. I really don't. So, yeah, really excited to be going through these. These are the predictions for the Oscars. 2021 is going to be a pretty wild year because they've backloaded so many movies coming out that year. So we're really excited to see. And there's some great movies that came out this year. So let's go over it and talk about some of the things we think will be nominated for Best Picture. All right? You excited? Please comment down below. Aside from everything else I've been asking you to comment, please comment down below what you think about this. And, if you have any other suggestions for movies. I'm pretty sure I hit everything, but we'll see. But just going down here. I should preface before I start. This year is open, wide open. And the reason for that didn't make a movie this year. Didn't make a movie. So finally, these guys can stop winning it all, and there's another chance for another studio to win. So let's go over it. We're going to start with Best Picture. Tenet, of course, is going to be nominated. It's an absolutely terrific film. You guys should see it. I've seen it 20 times already. I've only seen it twice, but I just think about it so much. It's like it plays in my head every day. Unhinged. I think this is a great movie. I love the anger. I really love the anger, the revenge story. Just a great turn from Russell Crowe. Or is it Gerard Butler? One of the two. They're both very good in the movie, depending on which one it is in it. Really good. Borat 2. I talked about this illegally. Don't kill me. Whatever studio made this. I can't even remember what it was. But, yeah. From what I've seen in the test screening, this is a fantastic movie. It's going to really be a tight contest between Tenet and Borat. It's kind of like how it was a tight contest between the Joker in 1917 last year, and then somehow Parasite won, which is just idiotic. But it's interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog, I think it deserves a turn. I think you had a great performance from James Marsden. We really weren't sure if he could play a character who wasn't having their girlfriend fall in love with another man throughout the series. So I think it was an interesting choice for them to have him take on a really a different role than he's used to, as having a faithful, committed relationship. I think that's interesting. Dune. How did I forget about this? Dune. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to win Best Picture. Definitely Best Boy. My Lord. I have, like, the more they release about it, the more I just keep staring at that old Timothée Chalamet. Wow. That is a handsome boy. A beautiful boy, one would say. Beautiful boy. Steve Carell, Timothée Chalamet, 2019. I want to give an honorable mention here to The Trial of the Chicago 7. I think it's kind of like one of those post films where it's going to maybe sneak in the nomination just because they like the politics, but I think it's too political. I think it's going to be too political. I think film is better without the politics, so I don't think that. Those are my thoughts for Best Picture. Interesting. Once it gets a little closer, I'll start to talk about what I think is going to win, what I think has the edge in it, and I'll probably react once they release the official things. This has to be pretty near official, I think, though. I can't see many of these not making it. Best Actor. This is interesting. Tom Holland's going to be nominated this year. I don't know what the heck it's going to be for. Maybe it'll be that Devil All the Time movie. Maybe they'll just say, hey, we missed it in 2019 with Far From Home. I don't know what it's going to be, but sorry, ladies. I know you hate Tom. You love Zendaya, but you hate Tom. Figure that one out, But, yeah, he's going to be nominated this year. Yeah, it's going to be great. Robert Downey Jr. for Doolittle. And this is kind of like that Far From Home thing, where I think they're going to retroactively realize, kind of like that makeup one. If you remember what was it? Denzel lost. He lost for Training Day. Oh, hit the mic. He lost for Training Day, and so they made it up with, oh no, it wasn't Training Day he lost for. It was, oh gosh, it was X. It was Malcolm. He lost for Malcolm X, and so they made it up with Training Day. Had that backwards in my head, but yeah, I think they're going to do that with Robert Downey Jr. here, where Doolittle, sure, great performance, transcendent, but I think they're going to realize they snubbed him for Endgame. So I think he might sneak in at least a nomination. Timothée Chalamet for Dune. I really don't care about the movie or anything at this point. Just that boy is so beautiful. Russell Crowe for Unhinged, or Gerard Butler. I really don't know which of the two it is. I really don't know, but they're so angry. They're just such an angry rage baby. And I like that in the movie. I do. Sacha Baron Cohen. This is my favorite to win it. Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat 2. Like I was in last episode. Transcendent. Tom Hardy for Capone. He knows how to act. He just knows how to act. The performance reminded me a lot how he played like this kind of broken character, like he did with Venom. I kind of like that descent into madness. And I think probably when they're casting Capone, they were looking at Venom and kind of who in that cast could take on this role, because of course Venom had some of the hottest names in Hollywood in that movie. So yeah, it was interesting. I'm gonna note here, honorable mention. Sorry, I keep my notes in front of me right here. Oh, honorable mention: Vin Diesel for Bloodshot. Why not? He deserves it for all the Fast and Furious films, and in this year, it's gonna be so hard to do it off of merit. So I think most of it's just gonna be off of what you did in the past. So I could see him sneaking in nomination here. Best Actress: Elizabeth Debicki for Tenet. Yeah, it was an exhausting role for her. That's for sure. She had so much to do in the film. More depth than all the male characters. Again, we talk about this on the show 1,000 times, how much we love nuanced female characters and how much we love how Christopher Nolan, the God King, directs women with his movies. It's so amazing to see him really take these deep dive character studies into women. I think it's fantastic. And of course, if you're a female actress and you're in a Nolan film, That Oscar nom's coming. That's for sure. Let's see. Liu Yifei for Mulan. I mean, she was... The one thing I'll say is you could definitely tell she was being directed by a white woman, and that for me was a little more relatable. So, yeah, I could see it. To be honest, I'm really kind of stretching this category. Like, every year there weren't any, like, female performances I really enjoyed. I have a note. The woman in 365 Days was pretty hot. So maybe her. I don't know. That's really all I can think of. Moving on to supporting actor. This is a much more interesting category. Oliver Jackson Cohen for Invisible Man. I didn't like the film that much just because I don't like seeing women win. But I thought the male rage, particularly white, that was a great aspect. I think that was a very great aspect. Moving on. Robert Pattinson for Tenet. That hair. I mean, yeah, alone. Oscar Isaacs for Dune. That beard, you know? Somebody give Oscar an Oscar. I had this note down. I wrote this joke earlier. I thought that was pretty good. Sal Vulcano from The Impractical Jokers, the movie. He's kind of played second fiddle for a while. And I know some people think that he's the lead on the show or whatever, that he's the thing. We know he plays kind of more of a backup supporting role. And no one else in the movie really stood out to me. I think this could be a good one for Sal. At least to just get the recognition, you know? And then whoever played Mushu in Mulan, it fit so well into the atmosphere of the film that I could never see him, you know? Don't you love that performance? When an actor is just so... It's a terrible movie. But an actor is just so engaged in a role in a movie. You can't even tell they're there. That's cinema. That's great. Let's take a look. Best Supporting Actress. I mean, I really can't think of anything that are worthy of an Oscar nod. Maybe Zendaya. I know it's just crapping on her, but she's in Dune, and she looks hot enough to have sex with Timothée Chalamet, so... Or at least, you know, be involved. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Directing. Christopher Nolan for Tenet. That's a great one. Oh, God. No, I didn't even realize. Denis Villeneuve for Dune. Oh. I know that Kong versus Godzilla doesn't come out for another year or so. But this is the real Battle of the Titans right here. This is good. What do you think? Christopher Nolan versus Denis Villeneuve? Dune versus Tenet? I mean, I know how good Tenet is. I know how good Christopher Nolan isn't. I don't know how good Dune is just yet. This is really exciting. I really don't know what to say. I think at this point any other direction is kind of irrelevant, really. Okay, moving on. Original screenplay. Yeah, it's going to be Tenet. I don't think I really need to put anyone else up there. Christopher Nolan for Tenet. Nolan is winning for sure. Why nominate anyone? You know, why nominate anyone else? Adapted screenplay. This is interesting. I think Dune probably will walk away with it. Nomination for sure for Dune. Aaron Sorkin's probably going to score another nom here for The Trial of the Chicago 7. Again, it's just so... It's so political. I really would rather it stayed out of that kind of political realm. Just hey, Sorkin, keep writing about crazy tech giants. You know, give us a Gates movie. Where's our Musk movie? You know, start working on that Elon Musk movie. He's a weird guy. You do something with that, you know? We haven't seen Jesse Eisenberg in a while. That'd be a role for him. I think that'd be really good. I'm not really sure what other films qualify this category. As you all know, I'm not really a big reader. I watch films, not movies, films. So, I don't know. It's like a book or something that's been adapted. Cinematography. Dune. Moving on. I love Tenet, all that. Dune though, definitely Dune. You saw how much CGI was in it, and that's a good that's good cinematography right there. All right, foreign language film. I don't like reading, so I couldn't understand any of them. Like, I remember I was trying to watch Parasite way back when there was all that hype around it, but there was just these weird symbols flashing on the bottom of the screen. It was really distracting, and it couldn't really get me into the story. So it's just like, it's flying by, and I was trying to read it, and it was like, what is this? Is this, it was like hieroglyphs. I don't know if that's like a point. Am I missing something about like Bong Joon-ho and capitalism? I don't really know. So, yeah. 365 Days was good. The girl was really hot, so that was a good one. Animated feature film. Animated. Aren't we in a golden age? Aren't we in such a good year? Like not year, but lifetime for animation. So great. Trolls World Tour nominated for sure. Onward nominated. Scoob nominated. Of course, Pixar is gonna pay to get Soul in there. We know it's gonna pay to get Soul inside there. So yeah, Soul's gonna be nominated. But I'm really interested in seeing if Sonic the Hedgehog gets in there. Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it deserves a little more credit than it's getting. It made such a great animated James Marsden for the film. You know, when they had that backlash over James Marsden looking kind of weird, you know? Because the early concept design for James Marsden, little short, big jaw, wasn't really quite there. So I was really relieved at what they ended up going with, because it was a good turn. You know, it was more realistic features on him. And Sonic didn't look too half bad. I didn't like the change, but yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. Yeah, and then the other categories don't matter. So yeah, that's what I think would probably be the nominations. I will say for sound mixing, Tenet, special effects, Dune. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Thank God Greta Gerwig isn't nominated this year, right? She's got nothing going on. Thank God. Yeah, sue me again, or what you're already doing. Anyways. As always, I'm Noah Norton. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have some hot takes, hot opinions on those. I think I was pretty. What would you say? Obvious, pretty like self-explanatory what the nominations were going for. But yeah, as always, I'm Noah Norton. Please follow our Instagram account. We have a lot of great stuff coming out there, breaking, reliable news, and from everyone from the Colonel Podcast and our subsidiaries. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.